Hi guys, it's Trevor Tolliver here and you're listening to the Blue Day podcast.
Welcome back, my friends, to the podcast that never ends. Yes, folks, this is the Blue Day podcast, and for Chelsea fans everywhere, every day is a blue day. I am your host, as always, Keith Lawrence. Welcoming back onto the show is Milan Lalkovic again, but we also have a very special guest on the show, somebody that also knows about Cobham and also knows about the circus that is Chelsea Football Club. But before we introduce him, Milan, how are we today? You had a bit of a nice free weekend, so to speak. Would you like to share to the viewers why you had a free weekend?
First of all, I just want to say that I don't think Chelsea circus. That's you, okay? So I'm putting it out there at the moment. But yeah, now I'm just chilling. Now, obviously, the season's over. I've been on the beach today, so I'm just enjoying my time. And I'm leaving on Wednesday back to England. A lot of good things ahead. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But definitely gonna miss the weather.
Absolutely. I think we might have to trade places. How's that? I'm more than capable of playing left back in the changing rooms. We do have a special guest though with us today, Milan. Because you know this gentleman quite well from your days at Chelsea, would you do me the distinct honour to introduce him to our viewers, please?
Of course. It's a Czech giant of a goalkeeper, one of my former housemates as well. A good friend of mine. We are not in touch as we used to be, of course, because everybody has different lives now, different things that they do in life. But sometimes we talk, and now I'm really excited to bring him here. His name is Jan Sebek, or I call him Honza, as in with Czech and Slovakian language. Used to be very good keeper for me, really good shot stopper. Crazy with his feet, but that's maybe because his size the shoe was 15 or something like that. Maybe too big shoes, but yeah. Let's welcome Jan, and hopefully we have a nice podcast today.
Hello Milan, hello Keith. Thanks for the more or less warm,
very warm,
warm greetings. Also, have a nice day to the other audience, and we can discuss my performance maybe later on. Because I have to say I gotta agree with Milan. Like my play with the feet wasn't the best, was it?
No, it's okay, but I remember the shot stopper from close range, from far. Obviously, you were big, but at that time it wasn't as important the feet, like playing out from the back. It was just coming. Only Barcelona were doing it.
Well, probably if I was a goalkeeper in like 90s or 80s, I would be one of the best in the world, right?
Very good, yeah. And if people were blind, also this would help.
Bloody hell, man. What a lovely
No,
surprise.
I'm joking, but I'm joking. I loved you. But yeah. I have one story, by the way, We were playing reserve game, I think against Blackburn. And sometimes, Ross Tumba did it many times when he played for reserves, caught the ball, corner kick or bad free kick. I was up alone. He bullied it to me, and we had a counter attack. One time I did the same thing I wanted to do with Jan, made the run to the left, and I looked the ball just going to the right. No problem.
To be honest, I didn't want to pass it to you because you're gonna just lose it immediately. So I was like, let's maybe play through someone who can distribute the ball further, you know.
Nice.
No, but the thing is,
mind the games, good mind games.
all right. As we started like this, I need to just defend myself immediately. Like the thing was, you know, my transfer to Chelsea was pretty fast. You know, I was still playing till 15. I was playing this like almost village club in Czech Republic. So we play like 4th or 5th league that there is in. Even the first league in the Czech Republic is far away from like championship. So I didn't have a proper goalkeeper training till I was like maybe 14. Otherwise, I was just preparing myself with the other players because we obviously had no goalkeeper coach. So and there's this little. It's called Koba Cup, which is after very famous Czech goalkeeper Koba, who played for Sparta Prague. And the Copa Cup, there's a cup made to actually for the first national team. There are like the guys from the other regions playing against each other, and at the end of it, it's the first national team, which is under 15s. And I was playing for the west part of the Czech, mostly because I was one of the biggest guys over there. I was huge when I was 15 already, or there was a 4 team at the time. And I'm not sure if he won the cup, but somehow, and actually, when I was talking to the newspapers in Czech, I made this story so many times, and I love it. They picked me to the national team, guys. I still don't get it till this very day. They somehow picked me, and the first tournament that we played, I think it was Malta or somewhere Italy, not sure. After the first tournament, there was a Jan Sebek, which was actually scout for Chelsea.
Now he's at Plzeň. He went to Plzeň now, huh?
Yeah, he's in Plzeň now, and he was in City before, right? In Man City.
No, he was Chelsea City, Chelsea Hamburg City.
Yeah. So he was there watching the tournament. It was like first game for the under 15s at the time in the Czech national team. And right after the tournament, I just got a call that if there's any chance, me going to try trial in Chelsea. It was basically like few months separated from the part when I left the small club in the village. So everything went too fast. I didn't have a chance to
Life-changing moment.
It's true. And I didn't have a chance to actually train my footwork. So it was too fast.
No, I can understand why they took you. I mean, as you said, when I first met you, it was my, I think, second year or first year straight away. I think it was my first year. I was 14 and you just 15, 16. And obviously your size at that age and everything, you were a man already. So you can understand why they took you, because you don't see a specimen like that at that age. You know what I mean? Like it's... you remember Sam Walker when he came? He was like 2 meters tall, but he was skinny. And then you had Aldi there. Okay. So anyway, yeah, my story is a little bit different. I knew
I don't want to hear it.
I knew I was good, but also changed in one game. So similar stories. And that's and also with Jan Sebek, as you said. So we were lucky, right place, right time, as you really need. It's not just about talent. Obviously, it's about hard work, but you need to be at the right place at the right time and basically play to your 100% all the time, because you never know who is watching at which time, at any level. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's what I would say.
Just wanted to add, obviously, in terms of Jan, your story, and Milan, your story as well. When you turned up at Cobham for the first time, did you feel immediately the pressure about now you're at Chelsea, this is the standard, this is where you've got to get to? At such a young age, did you feel any pressure coming from the coaches or the other players around the training ground at all?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, to be honest, and Milan probably knows this, and this is maybe different from other podcasts that you have with the football players. It wasn't really like my dream to be a football player, especially at the top level. Few people knows that 1 year before I got picked to Chelsea, I quitted football for a few months, and I was playing ice hockey. And the coaches from the club just trying to bring me back, and I didn't want to. I don't want to play football anymore. And then the tournament for the picking up the national team come up, and I was like, all right, let's try. But most of my career, I was put in the position because the other people thought that I can be like one of the best at some point. But I was never really into it. So back to your original question, Keith, I was never following football much. I never like watched Champions League at the night to follow the other players.
Right.
I never knew the squads and everything. I was playing the football, but not really like a huge football fan. It actually it got better after I ended my career, surprisingly. But during the career, not really much. So when I get to Cobham at my first day, I was like other guys, especially from my village town, were like asking me, how is it to sit next to Drogba and have a chat with Peter Cech and everybody. And I was like, they are humans. Like for me, But honestly, yeah, I felt that pressure. I felt that pressure. Mostly as the times goes by, and now I think about it, like in a backwards manner. The pressure wasn't coming from myself. I was feeling the pressures that the others have towards me, because it really never was my dream. And as my lives go on, I can see that more clearly now. Does it make
Interesting.
sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, there's so many footballers that don't watch football and playing in the Premier League, and they not so involved. So it makes sense. Everybody's completely different. But I remember you worked hard anyway. You did work hard. Maybe it wasn't your dream, but you worked hard. Remember, you were used to do sit-ups at home in your in your room. You know, you did gym, you did everything correctly. So, but yeah, everybody's different. I was exactly the opposite. But in my career, as you can probably see on the Wikipedia, I hit highs, and then I wasn't consistent. Like, how can you say it? Every time I did something good, I didn't carry it. I was like, okay, now it's good, and then I drop back down. And when I'm start dropping back down, then I'm again like, oh shit, I need to start doing again. And it's like that, you know. And really, if you want to play at a really high level, there's no time for mistakes. There's no time to be okay. You can be out of form and this, which happens in football. Everybody is, the top players are, but there's no time to like relax, because you need to always look over your shoulder. Anywhere you are, sometimes he's ready to take your position, so you always have to be ready and consistent with your work. So it doesn't matter if you're doing well, you need to have the balance, and it also doesn't matter when you're doing bad, because the good times are going to come back, but you need to have the balance. Do your work, do your gym, do your whatever your coaches tells you, your the trainers, like the gym trainers. Your now very important is injury prevention work. You know, all this to be ready at basically at all time, because otherwise it just passes you by. And I can see it in my own story. I can see it.
I can't agree more. You know, me and Milan know each other for quite a while, so we know what was going on the pitch and off the pitch. And it's interesting topic you started here, because now I'm on the other side. I'm coaching young players, because I have many individuals from the top clubs in Czech, and I can see, because as I'm working with them for some time, they trust me, and they'll tell me what is going on in their lives. And what is funny, and it doesn't matter if you want to play in high level, like in sports, or even if you want to have a good job or studying or whatever. The funny things about us, especially young guys, I'm not going to talking about girls, especially young guys, it's the most decisive moments are taking places in when we are the most stupid, like around 20s or 18s or 22s. And you can fuck up your life pretty hard. I'm not sure about what was the case of Jacob Mellis at the moment, if I can speak honestly, like what's going on with Jacob. But we all
I think
had
he's
our
on
moments.
I think he's on the track back. Sorry, I think he's on a good track back. Like to,
Very good.
but yeah,
So,
I mean, that story is out there. One of his close mates sold the story on him, which is not nice, but everybody saw what happened. So yeah.
oh bloody hell! So good here, good. I think it's like we knew each other, and there was very few little that gave 100% to it, off and on and off the pitch. So
Yeah.
you know, I can tell for myself, I'm guilty or charges. Like I like girls, I like parties. So I wasn't like 100% time in there. You know, especially if you leave the country and you're missing your friends, you're just trying to
Yeah.
find a way how to kill a time. Because most of us, I'm pretty sure, we are missing our homes, and we were from all over the world. So you're just trying to, have some good time, which normally, when you're trying to be like professional athlete, is not the best way how to do it. So yeah, I can now understand when the young guys doing what they're doing, and just trying to give them some sense. I tried this road. It's not working, guys. It's not working.
And also, it wasn't easy for you at first, because you left after first year because you were homesick most of the time. So it's not easy just to go, okay, talent and this, sporting, right place, right time. But then when you're actually there, as you said, you're missing your home,
Exactly.
your family, your village, your friends. Everybody is maybe texting you what they're doing in Czech, and then you are there alone doing your sit-ups in the room. No, but yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not easy for everybody. It's not easy for everybody. Some people just disappear. But you had good head on you, and you came back. You came back, and that also takes a big courage to come back.
Yeah, I think of Messi. When I get to Chelsea, I really got homesick because I realized just there how fixed I am to my family and to my friends.
Mhm.
So it was a pretty hard time, and everything fell apart. At the time, I got very heavy ankle sprain, so I was out for a few months, I think.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that
2 months.
time,
I remember. I
and
remember.
that time I spent in the physio, just working from morning. It got even worse when I wasn't like on the pitch, and I was like, but as I said before, like there was many times during my career when I wasn't sure if the football is the right thing, which ended up like I ended my career when I was 23, which is unusual for a guy who was in Chelsea academy, right? It's pretty young age.
Just to add on that, were there any other players while you both were there that had similar sort of thinking in terms of, I don't know if this is for me. Yes, I'm at Chelsea's academy. I've got the best coaches in the world. There's a chance I could play alongside John Terry and Frank Lampard, but this ain't for me. Was there any other players that had that notion of, if I get released or if I fuck up, it's not the end of the world?
Milan, you want to
Uh,
start?
I don't really remember like that for my age groups, and then obviously years above. I don't think I. Okay, everybody was doing what they're doing off the pitch. That's their life. But I don't remember speaking to someone that, oh, I don't care about football. If Jan knows, maybe he spoke to someone. But not me, not me. I don't think there's someone. Yeah.
Well, they were definitely guys that you can tell they are much more into it than the others.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
overly, even on
When we
performance
talk about,
rate.
you mean when we talk about professionalism?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but that, yeah.
Well, no, I was just talking in terms of how have they felt about whether they
Well,
were in love with the
Like
game.
Ben White doesn't he plays, but he doesn't care about football. Doesn't watch.
Yeah, so in terms of
No.
basically how they were at the academy, the fact that if they felt that they were at the best academy in the world, I've got to strive to progress, or it's a case of I'm just here because someone says I'm good. That type of deal. Were there any other players like that for the latter?
I mean,
Not that I
even
remember.
I mean, even if they probably felt like it, you're not gonna. It's maybe even hard for you to admit it to yourself,
Yeah.
not unless to tell it like somebody else, especially if you're like trying to, I don't know, make your parents proud or everybody, all your friends are like, you're in Chelsea. It's the part of that people like you a little more. There's this thing. So it's probably hard to say that I don't want to be here. Even I realized that like when I got nearly 30 years old, which was 6 years after I ended my career. I was like, I'm old enough now to be honest with myself. But I wasn't at the time. Like I speak to nobody about it. Like I'm not even sure if I want to play it. Like yeah, I like the trainings and everything, but all the life around football and the dressing rooms, I was a little more introverted than the others. So it took me time to actually admit it. Like wasn't the it was a great experience, gave me a lot. I wouldn't change a thing about it, but I can be honest about it at this time where I'm now at.
Mm.
What was the standard of coaching like for you guys? Because again, you've come from a similar background in terms of where you guys started when you were kids and then coming up and then being transferred to Chelsea. What was the standard of coaching like? And was there any sort of other stories have you got of some of your teammates with how you guys fared in the under 21s and even in the under 18s?
I mean, for me, the coaching standard as the coaches, obviously, Jan had goalkeeper coaches, which he was most with them, but you cannot really compare from Czech to Slovakia, and then you go to Chelsea. It's a massive change. It's a massive change with anything, talent, coaching, facilities. It's top three in the world or top five. You know what I mean? You go from Jan from basically nothing because he's in a village. Yeah, no, but yeah, he is, he is.
Yeah,
But after you went to Posen, no, sorry, you went to Posen after.
yeah, but I've
Yeah.
been there. I've been there a few months, maybe 3 or 4
Okay, so
months.
you will basically go from nothing, really. You're probably washing your own clothes, and then you have a guy. You come to Chelsea, you have a guy giving you fresh clothes all the time with a fresh towel. But every day it's a new towel. It's crazy. Do you know what I mean? You got boots. They got boots for you. They got glats for you. It's everything. So it's unbelievable change. Not talking about the coaching because that you can't really compare. Even though some of the coaches I had in Slovakia, some of them, when I think back, I'm like, what was going on there? But we had Paul Clement, Real Madrid, PSG, Chelsea first team, Steve Holland, England now assistant, the late Dermot Drummy, may he rest his peace, from Arsenal. We had Adi Vivas who played at a really good level when it was good coaches. That's who were coaching me, and then the younger ones. Who came now through the age groups, but I think it was fantastic. And then when we trained with the first team, obviously Mourinho, Carlo, I had good Hiddink, Scolari, Villas Boas. It's a mad experience. And sometimes every day I look around myself and I'm thinking, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, again, I have to agree with Milan. Like when you look at the coaching, and even of course, in teams like Chelsea, there is much more knowledge. There's much more opportunities for coaches. But I mean, being a coach is a very complex thing. So I had even guys in Czech that actually gave me something to take away to life, which they are much more like, let's say, the psychology, the empathy, and all the stuff. So there's the other part of it. Like even when some guy have all his X and O's and have a really good knowledge, it's hard to get to the players if there's not like any kind of relationship between them. So there's the other part. But if you look at it just from point of like performance coaching or coaching, obviously football, it was, as Milan said, I mean, it was basically in Czech, because I wasn't in the first team, I was too young to that. In Czech, it was like one coach for everything. I mean, in the service that is going on in Chelsea compared to Czech and Slovakia, it's going through the roof. The difference is huge. I mean, probably the same difference that would be maybe about between Czech and Africa or something, or some parts of the world.
Yeah.
I was like, huge difference. I can tell you this. I know this is not about coaching, but I can tell you a story when I get back to Czech league. When I left Chelsea, I went to the top league in Czech, and one of the
And it's not easy, by the way. It's not easy. I did the same thing. It's not easy to mentally to come there as well. And you see completely different mentality. But yeah, tell your story.
So I was going to the club that from time to time was playing Europa League at that time, which was Jablonec. So let's say at that time, one of the top 5.
We actually met in the game. We met in the game, huh?
Yeah. So it was one of the
small
wealthiest club. And I went there, and after the first game in the top league, and we were playing against Sparta, one of our guys swapped the shirt with the other player in Sparta. And the kit man, it was like, what the hell are you thinking? You're going to pay for that. So we're talking about one of the 5 wealthiest clubs in the world, in the Czech Republic. And if you swap the shirt in the league match, it's like, you're going to pay for it, my friend. You just lost a shirt. So it's not that bad this time. It is getting better. But like from a guy from Czech league to go into, I mean, Sparta and Slavia, they're all right. It's really getting professional there, especially at Sparta.
Yes.
But the other clubs and the bottom of the league, it's like,
the difference is massive. The difference is massive. Yeah,
would be a joke. There's not enough economy in that.
I was in Mlada Boleslav, who also were, like Jan said, fighting for Europe. But they had a really famous coach in Czech Republic. You know who? I'm not gonna say his name because that's a different.
Too afraid.
But look, mentally, it was very difficult for me because I came from England where my coach was. I just left Warsaw, so that was my last year at Chelsea. I was alone at Warsaw, played over 40 games in League One, which is really good level for 20-year-old. I started obviously in Championship when I was 18. Mentally, probably I wasn't ready. Then went to Portugal Premier League, Dutch Premier League, and definitely I wasn't ready mentally because I thought I'm the bollocks. And I didn't realize that you need to earn your place. You are coming from Chelsea. You are superstar in the B team, top scorer. Lukaku is just like 3 goals behind you. But okay, you earned your loan, you earned it, so you're going to these teams. But now the reserve team football is out. This first team football is completely different. Now you're fighting against Brazilians, Portuguese players. You are fighting against people who have over 100 games in Portugal, or over 100 games in Holland. So I'm expecting, because I'm from Chelsea, to go play straight away. Doesn't work like that. Unless you are Neymar or Rooney, or you know what I mean? It doesn't work like that. So it hit me, and I couldn't process it in my head, and I did exactly opposite what I should do. So as I said, the highs and the lows, the balance. I went from the high, and I couldn't keep my balance. I was like, all right, so you're not playing me, I don't care. And slowly I was disappearing. I go out, I do this gym, I don't care, I don't do gym. You know what I mean? And that's the worst thing you can do. As I said, when the things are going right for you, that's when you need to actually keep going and keep pushing. And when they go bad, you just can't let it go, because at this level, I was in Den Haag and Victoria Guimarães, which is good clubs, man, good clubs. And it was a big loan for me. I spoke to Jan Žička before this. He said this can the Holland loan, because obviously I was too good for reserves. The Holland loan can push you now to Bundesliga maybe, or somewhere, or the top teams in Holland, if you do what you can do on this stage. But luckily, then I went to the third league. Sorry, I wanted to mention the third league in England a year later, because my coach from Doncaster, who was at Championship, went to Walsall, and he called me. He said, look, I follow you all the time. I know what you can do, but you need to play games. You need to be confident, and we can give you this platform. So I went there, played a lot of games, found my confidence, and I was ready now to, okay, am I going to push on in a good team in League One? There was a few championship clubs, Birmingham at that time, but I was waiting for one team from Greece, PAOK, to come back, because Miroslav Stoch just finished there, and he was going to go back to Fenerbahce. He was on loan, and I was meant to be as a younger replacement. You know, they give me time. They obviously, it was better for me to go there to the first league in Greece, to PAOK, who are dominant in that league, with Olympiacos and Panathinaikos, then stay in the League One. But nothing was happening. Nothing was happening. And I ended up in Czech Republic because of maybe bad advice, maybe because I was too, I don't know, confident that I'm going to go there. And I ended up, all the teams that wanted me, I ended up missing out, because I said, no. They got the players in. And I had to go to Czech Republic, which is still good. But what I wanted to say, I came from Warsaw with Dean Smith, who was the Aston Villa manager, Norwich manager, Leicester City manager. Now, in recent years, he's now in America, who gave me so much confidence before the game. I thought I'm one of the best players, with his assistant, Richard O'Kelly. And then I came to Czech Republic, where everything you do is just wrong. Whatever you do is not like, well done. It's like, oh, you should have done this, you should have done that. Maybe it was just the coach. But I've seen it before. I've seen it now 2 or 3 times in Czech teams where I was, and I was in good teams. And there is like, okay, you're good at this, but you're not good at this, so we're going to tell you, and we don't care about what you're good at. If you, one coach from one team told me, you are top 3 players attacking-wise in the league. And he included me, Stoch, and I think it was Stanchu. But then he said to me, you are 3 worst defensive-wise. And that, it didn't make sense for me, because in Chelsea, I'm working hard. Ask Jan. Up and down, running, tracking your fullback and everything. Okay, I played number 9 sometimes, which you don't have to do. But when I played on the wing, I was tracking my fullback. And I was like, is he just saying this because doesn't like me, or negative, or because I have just 1-year contract and he wants to play his players? Very strange. For me, in Czech Republic is more negative things than positive that come out of coach's mouth. But that's my experience.
Well, do you expect me to support you after what you said about my footwork?
No.
No.
But when I played number 9, it was a different story. But as a fullback in Chelsea, you had to track back. You had to, and otherwise you wouldn't play. So, but yeah.
Yeah, the general problem in Czech Republic, which is not happening in England as much as I think, is the coaches don't really change for last 10 or 20 years. There's always some young face coming in, but all of them, they are very old timers. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
all about like push the player, try to, overrate him to make him more like angry and motivated and stuff like that.
yeah.
So, but I think it's gonna be better in the future. You can see some young faces they are going in. So
I'm gonna give you some stories from Czech. Not saying names, but let's say day before the game, my dad came watching me. I was playing for one team against Plzeň, who were champions at that time. Day before the game, we doing five-a-side. You know how it is: corners, free kicks, five-a-side. So I'm doing well. I'm scoring, confident. I know I'm starting tomorrow as a striker. My dad is watching, so I'm buzzing. So I'm doing all the tricks and scoring, and it's nice. After the games, after the training, the main coach comes to me and said, "You did everything wrong today, and tomorrow you should be playing. You were really bad." What does he mean, man? Like, I was on fire. And then Michael Tavares, remember Tavares, Jan,
yeah,
the French guy, he played for Slavia, so you know who the coach was now. Michael Tavares came to me and said, "Don't worry, Milan. This is how he motivates people." I'm like, sure. Imagine to some young guy. Obviously, my head different. I was like, whatever you say, man. But imagine you saying this to some young guy who is gonna come play first time against the champions of the. He maybe loses his mind and he loses his confidence. Another team. We are playing against I think mid-table team, but it's an important game because we're fighting for the Europe to qualify. This is 4 or 5 years later, different team. So before the game, it's like 2 hours before the game. The coach calls me and the left back to the office, and we're gonna think, oh, maybe he's gonna say something tactical. And he says, "If it doesn't work after 20 minutes, I'm gonna take you off." What kind of motivation is that, man? What kind of advice before the game is this? Again, imagine a young player who is gonna play, and you tell him if it doesn't work out after 20 minutes, you're off. No. I was like, what is this guy saying? And I couldn't. I went out of this room and I was like, did he actually really say that? Like, what? Seriously, I couldn't believe it, man. I couldn't believe it. I would
did you
never
have
say that to the coach. I would never say that to my teammate, man. I would never say that to my teammate.
did you have any funny stories like that in Chelsea, or was it just in Czech?
Bro, no, no, I don't. From Chelsea, I don't. It was all about unlucky, well done. Okay, do this when it was something not wrong. Of course, coach shouted at you, but you knew. I knew Dermot. Me and Dermot had a really good relationship, and with Steve Holland. And I knew sometimes Dermot, even when he looked at me, I knew I did something wrong, so I just did the right thing next time. Steve Holland was more calm. He used to speak to you more. But these managers were that I want to fight for them. Do you know what I mean? They build me up. Also in England, they build you up confidence wise. They build you up, and you go ready to the game. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
these things in Czech Republic were mad.
Especially in like youth team and reserves, you can see that the coaches at Chelsea, they really try to pick them very carefully, especially like how they work with the players in the way of exactly psychology and empathy and all of it. So
Very important.
shout out to
Modern,
that. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you.
How good was the team that you guys were involved in? Because a lot of fans that I've spoken to and a lot of people that listen to the show, but also were keen on the Chelsea Academy back in 2008 to sort of 2012, around that period, they all enjoyed watching the youth games, whether it be the Youth Cup or the divisional or the Reserve League, for example, and then it would then transfer to be the Under 21 Development League. What was it like being part of that team, and what was it like sort of being involved? There was obviously certain characters in that team, including Milan, but what other sort of characters were there that sort of gave that team a little bit of an extra edge over your other rivals?
Well, if you take Milan out of the team, our dressing room was perfect. So no, I like to remember about those times. Like, for me, especially coming from the like Czech small teams, I was looking at those young fellas, and I thought, oh, everybody can play here. Like there's no real like a super weak spot at that age. Like of course it's a long way to the first team because as Milan said, there is a huge difference between playing for reserve or youth team compared to like really Premier League and Championship level. It's like it's doesn't mean if you're going to play for these young ages at very good clubs that you're going to actually make it. It's too far away. It's too different.
It's quite massive.
Yeah, it is. But
I think most of them had quality to play, but it is mentally. I'm telling you, mentally is the 80-90% what you do in your life. Also with work and stuff. I'm not just talking about football, but it's the mentality that takes you over the edge. I saw so many now interviews, Lampard, John Terry. Everybody talks about hard work, and it's not a cliche. It's a fact. It's a fact. There is so many more talented players than these two were, but they squeezed everything out of that. And obviously, as the years gone, they got better because they practice, and they kept going. And Lampard at 32, 33, taking bags of balls and shooting and practicing his technique all the time. And when the ball comes to him in the game, boom, done. And because he does this 800 times during the year, or 1,000 times, or even more during the year, so it's not surprised. It's not surprising. Do you know what I mean? Everybody worked hard, especially at the top level. Maybe only Ronaldinho can do flicks and tricks, and Neymar then smile to your face. They don't have to work as much, but everybody else, either you're working at your speed, either you're working at your shooting, either you're working at your receiving skills, whatever. Everybody does the extra work at the top level, unless you are, as I said, Brazilian superstar.
I mean, at the time when I was at youth team or reserves, of course, they were good guys who work harder than the others. They really put like 100% effort. I remember a few of them. I don't know. It's a party of plenty of young people, young guys, lots of testosterone and trying to overplay each other. So it was. I think even for those guys, it was pretty hard to be in there. I remember like. Especially, I can probably name them for me, like Fabio Borini and Marko Mitrovic. The two of them, they were probably one of the hardest worker there. But it was hard on them because they really, not drinking most of the time, staying on the pitch late, and they were really trying to do all the good things. And it was hard for them being in the dressing room as well because everybody worked hard, but they're trying to push it even further. Which makes the other guys make fun of them. It's not. It's really so.
Yeah.
You're in this
it happens
kind of
in changing room, though. It happens in changing room. Lampard said the same thing when he was young. He was doing the extra stuff, and also because his father was an assistant coach in West Ham, he didn't have it easy. But he was staying, doing the runs and doing the shooting, and people were actually taking the piss. But he said, when you have a vision, you don't worry about anybody else.
Because in football team, especially at the young age, it's not only about what is going on the pitch, it's also about what's going off the pitch. And not many guys can go through that on that high level, because it can get very frustrating, I think. So people mocking at you that you work too hard if you're not going to spend time with them. Away from the field or training ground, they can separate you from the group. So at that point, you're trying to figure it out. If you're like trying, because everybody wants to be part of that environment. You just don't want to be a player who go on pitch them. You also want to have friends in the dressing room. So I think that can also be a problem that not many players can do it because they're going to be dragged down either with the teammates or maybe from some people away from the club, the other friends, because we're socializing human beings. So it's also very important how the dressing room works from inside.
Talk to me, if you can, gents, about one player who nearly burst on the scene while he was at Chelsea during sort of this time, and that was Gael Kakuta. A lot of things were sort of made about him when he signed for Chelsea, and Chelsea did get in trouble in terms of the transfer that when Gael Kakuta came to the club. But when he was at training, a lot of people were saying he was going to be the next big thing, and Chelsea have got a star on their hands. Obviously, it didn't work out to that point. He's still doing quite well. I believe he's still in the Ligue 1 at the moment. He's doing quite well.
No, he's second division in France.
Oh, he's in the second division, pardon. But I know that he has played in Ligue 1 for quite a bit. What was he like to sort of deal with? Was he, because he has sort of come across as like a bit of a shy, timid kind of guy. What was he like sort of as you guys were growing up through the ranks?
Yeah, talent-wise, one of the best I've seen. Talent-wise, mad, absolutely mad quality. I just saw some clips maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, recently from him in League Two in France. What he was doing is he's still doing the same things that he was doing in training. He's doing to these people, breaking ankles, doing amazing things. You know, what a player, man! What a player! But not patient enough for me. Not patient enough.
Yeah, yeah. Gal was like definitely one of the best we had, if not the best one. Really a good player. He was very skilled with the ball. Like very easy on him to have a good first touch, pass the ball, control the ball, 1v1, fast, very smart on the pitch. Very, very, very hot-tempered.
Yeah.
So he had very high ego. So it wasn't easy at the time for the coaches probably control him. Also, he was very well aware of what other people thinks about his performance, which was good. So he was a nice guy, at least from my point of view. It was much better to talk to him 1v1 when you're away from the group, because he was a little crazy around the lights, trying to be,
Funny guy.
the center of the attention. But really nice guy, hot temper. I can imagine his motivation went down after every, when you try to even give him the feedback, not like just criticizing him, have a feedback for the coaches. He probably always took it as a criticism, and then you can see it on his face. He didn't like losing when we played little games, 4v5, 5v5. If you played with him and you maybe do a mistake or whatever, he was very hot tempered. Not like in an aggressive way, but you can see he can lost his focus when the things are not going well. So probably even in the big picture, not just like small games.
When we sort of look at the first team that was around that point, and Milan, we spoke about it earlier when sort of a few weeks ago when we was talking about certain players, and we talked about the likes of Deco and Ballack, Ivanovic, Carvalho, players like that. Were there anybody in particular of those kinds? We talk about Terry, Lampard and Cech. Did they give you any particular advice that you look back on and maybe you can then give to the younger generation now?
They were good. They were all good, and all kinds of advice when you went over the other pitch and trained with them. Joe Cole, Anelka one time was also training a lot with the B team because they bombed him out. So he was with us. Maluda was with us at some point. But yeah, they were all fantastic. Obviously, Peter Cech, because of our own language, so you could have spoke to him. But all kinds of advice that is needed for a young player. But most of it is keep going. It's hard work, and look in front of you is Torres, Kalou, Maluda, Drogba, Lukaku. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? You need to be patient, or you need to go out alone and show it there. And Jan actually was on the bench a couple of times, and he nearly came on. He nearly came on in Blackburn away.
Yeah, that was close. That was a close call.
Imagine if you had to take a goal kick there. I don't know what would happen.
Was this the Was this the League Cup tie in 2000?
No, it was Premier League.
Premier League game.
Oh, it was Premier League, right? Beg your pardon.
Was Premier League. It was 7th minute. Peter had a goal kick, and just when he kicked the ball away, he immediately grabbed on his hamstring. And I think Hiddink was on the bench at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure it was Giz Hiddink. And he just turned around and get yourself warm. And I couldn't tie my shoelaces, man. I was like, this is not gonna happen, is it? But I think it's much better if you don't have a time to actually be prepared for it.
Yeah.
I'll be like, what can happen?
I was going to say, was this the last home game of the season, 2009, against Blackburn? If you're talking with Bat.
No. It was away.
It was away.
Right.
It was a away game for sure, because I remember I look in the stand, and the stand, because people were jumping, it was like going up and down. I was like, oh my God, either the stadium gonna fall, I'm gonna fall. So
Hey, he was Jan was number 3 for a long part of that season.
Mm. What was
All
it
the
like?
time with the first team. He actually won the Academy Player of the Year, huh?
did I?
Yeah, you won Academy Player of the Year, bro.
You know, I can't even remember that. That is
You need to, bro. You need to use this story in your gym. You need to use it.
What do you mean?
Like put it on the wall somewhere in your gym, like Academy Player, Chelsea Academy Player of the Year 2009 and 10. End of the season awards. You won it,
I
bro.
am going to have a look now.
Oh
Hang
my
on.
God.
I'm going to
Nah,
have...
it's not. It's not you're not gonna find it. It's the Academy. It's not the awards that they do on Stamford Bridge. We did it as the Academy, and Jan won it.
Oh my God. You're now when you're telling you, you're probably right.
Your second year at youth team, your last year in
Yeah.
youth team.
Yeah, it was when I
You won.
started to play for the reserves. After the Arsenal game, that was the season, right?
I think so, man. I think so.
Yeah.
So you won the Academy Player of the Year, like Scholar of the Year, basically.
Yeah. They
Because you
probably gave
were on
it
the
for,
bench, you were training with the first team, and you were on the bench.
yeah.
And remember, I think you won your position. I think you put someone out. I think it was Nick Hammond. Nick Hammond
Yeah.
was ahead of you at the start of the season. You flipped it.
That was the thing. He was already in the goal for the reserves. Both of us were young enough to play for the youth team, and he got injured, and I went there, and it was a great game because it was Flora Maluda was playing.
Yeah.
Wojciech Szczasny was in goal for Arsenal, and it was 0-0, and it was all about me and Wojciech. Yeah, we saved everything that day, and after
That flipped your time. That flipped your time.
it really did. It was like one game win for me, and from that point, I was playing much more than before.
Just to add on your Young Player of the Year awards, I've actually got it up. The Young Player of the Year awards in 2008, the under-18s youth team. 2009 was Michael Mancian. 2010 was the under-18s youth team, because that was a time where the under-18s won the Youth Cup, and I believe they pretty much spanked
that was us. That was me. That was
pretty
me.
much spanked teams every single week. So yeah, that's not a bad accolade to have, surely.
And Jan won a year after.
I don't think.
Yes, you did, man. You did. This is what Keith is saying. This is the awards at the Stamford Bridge. But that doesn't matter. We have awards in the academy. We had awards in the academy.
You have a much better memory than I do.
You got the awards outside of the training ground, like when it's barbecue end of the season. But yeah, obviously you don't care about football. I don't even.
When it comes to barbecue, there's things that are priorities. Barbecue's one of them. Come on.
Because on your list, Keith, on your list is probably what, Piazon next? Piazon?
I have got, and again, we can discuss about these particular players. Josh McEachran was 2011.
Yeah, McEachran is after. This is first. This is like the top Chelsea awards, not the academy.
Lucas Piazon 2012.
Yeah. So
Nathan Aki 2013. I wonder where he is now. But yeah, interesting to obviously see the names. But yeah, the academy wise, when you see how the academy started, you see Chelsea's academy now, when they've brought in the likes of Reece James, Conor Gallagher, Fikayo Tomori, when you look at it from when it started, when the academy started to produce results, they started to get success when it came to awards. You guys were part of that, and I think it's very, very important that Chelsea fans do remember that the academy, 20 years ago, didn't produce players and results, but it only got to a point after the takeover when Chelsea started being successful on the pitch in the first team that the reserves and the academy started to produce, and then obviously you guys coming in were part of that. And when you look at players that were part of your side that went on, whether they played 100, 200 EFL games or played it abroad and played in European competitions, you, with all due respect, laid the foundations for what the Chelsea Academy is doing right now.
Yeah, we were at the start. We were at the start, Chelsea invested a lot. Miroslav Stoch was the first one, obviously. He saw the foundations that were built because it was just started when Miro got there, and we came 1 year later, basically. But the academy, was built. Remember, Jan, the academy that it just got opened when we came first year. It was amazing stuff. The training ground, and it was invested a lot. A lot was invested into the players, coaches, facilities, and everything. And you can see now, what is it, 10, 12, 13, 15 years later? I don't even know. I'm feeling old, man.
It's a long
That's
time.
what this podcast does. Is we like
Now
to
it's
sort
even
of go
better,
back
though.
to.
But now it's even better. Now it's even better.
And you
I've
can
been
just
there.
see.
I've been there 2019. It looked pretty similar, or well, a little
Yeah, but
different.
the gym inside is bigger. They
The
opened it.
gym, well, gyms, that's a heaven. Love it in there.
Yeah.
Spend there most of my time on the internship. So
Yeah. So I came there. When I was injured at Portsmouth. I spoke to Neil Buff and they helped me to get the physio work done in Chelsea. I was there for 3 months with them when Conte was the manager, and it was amazing. It was amazing. And obviously you get Stu Warner was looking after me. Remember Jan? Stu?
yeah, I do very well.
Yeah. So he's a very nice guy. He was helping me out, and Paco, the Spanish doctor was trying to help me out when I had problem with my Achilles, and little Stu, it's funny, man.
I mean, I'm still in touch with few guys from the physio. So it's nice to talk to them from time to time, you know, because I've been there on internship as I'm a fitness coach at the moment.
Yeah,
So
give us your experience from that about what you thought as well with the who was it? Conte. Obviously, Conte was different, but you were there under Sarri.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Wow, what was that like?
To be honest, for me, I'm not going to talk about football here. I'm going to talk about the physical preparation outside of the field and gym, everything.
Because sorry, and because you see what? Okay, you don't know, but Chelsea last 2 years, so many injuries, off the pitch. People are saying bad physios. You can say really good physios because we've been there. I've been telling people the care that they get is absolutely unbelievable, and it's also about the player. When the player says to you that you can play, and you're coming back after injury, and how you feeling? I'm maybe you should stay 1 more week. I say no, I'm fine. It's the player's decision, but normally you have fitness physio program to get you back to speed for training with your team again, like slowly. So give us your opinion on what you think about that as well.
I had this conversation with Jan Žička when we were watching the England against Czech Republic, and he asked me, there was a time when Liverpool had so many injured players, and he asked me like, Jan, you're in this business at this very moment, so tell me, how is it possible that so many players in Liverpool are injured at the moment? I told him, pain is so multifactorial, and there is so much that comes in, and injuries as well, that if I would know, I'll be probably a billionaire because the club would pay me like everything. This is the thing that everybody's trying to sort it out. For me, it was a great experience to be in Chelsea because I was at all medical meetings in the morning. You know, it was great to be there after 10 years that I left as a player, to have a chance to be there as a coach and talk to the old guys in there. And it was so professional. I mean, it was like scheduled when certain people were talking, start with the doctors, then continuing to the physios, then the message went to the fitness coaches and masseurs. So I have to say, really, what they've been doing there in 2019, it was a great job. Very professional. Even I had a chance to spend with them. But what was little hard pillow to swallow for me was what was going on in the fitness part or gym part. But I had many discussions with them about it, even with the physios and coaches. Like, everything starts with the manager, and if Sarri is not open to have some preparation outside of the field, there's nothing you can do about it. So he wasn't really open to work with the players outside. Also, I got the point because I was talking to the owner of the physios, and like it's hard. It was at times when Hazard was coming in, or he was there probably for some time. It was like it's hard to, at his age, it's hard to start any proper gym with him, because if you're gonna start with higher intensity or higher volume than the guy is used to, you're actually making the risk of injury higher. So it's very, very hard to, especially in the professional sport, it's very hard to maintain the balance between the recovery and the trainings, because at high level, everybody's trying to get as much as they can from the training, just a little bit under before the thing's gonna blow up, because you're competing with the others. So this can be a topic for another 10 hours. So only thing I can tell about is, like, as I seen the medical staff at the time and the physiotherapists, they were professionals and they really cared about the work, and not just the work. Many of them also really cared about the players.
Of course. That's how I remember it.
So
When you look at sort of back then, remember mine is it was 2019. When you look at it from then to now, the amount of injuries that, and we're not just talking about Chelsea, we're talking about in general, players picking up injuries season after season. You know, there'll be some players that might have 4 or 5 injuries a season. Is it because of the preparation from the player? Is it because of maybe the standard of the fitness training that these certain players are getting, although most of these clubs have got professionals working under that? Is there a bit of a risk going that you're going to have players not having the long careers because of factors such as maybe certain managers, as you said, not putting enough work into the fitness side of things, rather just concentrate on out on the field? Or is it more of the difference in how players are from 5-10 years ago to now?
all right, I'll try to make this question as simple as it can get. First of all, there is a genetics. So I'm gonna, if you look at the hamstring muscles, there is a different point of attachment for everybody of us. So that's the first thing that comes. You were born somehow, so this always be in the way how big the factor of injury is for you. That means for everybody. That's the first thing. Other thing is, how is it going when you're young? So the development should be long term, especially with the young players, because if you learn the movement patterns in the early age, and then you build up some strength, explosivity, and mobility in the very, very young age, and build it up with the intensity as they grow up, the risk of injury, I'm pretty sure, will be smaller. The other thing, the game is getting faster, much faster, much more intensive, and they are. I know this is not football, but when I look at how many games they are playing in NFL now, or Premier League is the one of the most intense competitions that there is. Like, there is always a risk. Can be reduced, like, acutely. It can, by really taking care, which is mostly players. First of all, sleep. If you don't sleep enough, there is many studies and again, this is American football, but we can say this going through all the sports. There's many studies when the guys get a young baby, which means first 3 or 4 years, they're gonna get much more lesser sleep.
Yeah.
And you can see the risk of injury is getting higher. It's normal. Like, we're made of meat and bones, and your muscles, when they hydrated, they are much more elastic. They are much more able to actually overcome the stretch and the contraction that is going on in muscles, especially with the muscle injuries. So the fatigue injury and sleep injury, this is all about nutrition and things you do off the field. And the other thing is how you prepare in the long term. As I said, the training in the gym can be very beneficial, but I'll be like, if I don't believe that some percentage you can help the injury prevention or getting higher with the performance, I wouldn't do this job. But if I'll say it's like 25% of risk injury prevention and performance, especially in skill-based sport as a football is, I would be lying to my pocket. Like, I would be like, guys, yeah, we're coaches. There is something that really needs to be on the professional level, but there is much more into it. There is much more into it. So the pain and injury, there is so much things coming into that bucket, and you're just trying to go around the players and try to find where can be actually a leak in the short term and in the long term, if that does make sense.
Makes sense to me, Milan, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, He speaks a lot of good things. So it's good to have that kind of report.
Yeah, I'm better at this job much more than I used to be at football, guys, to be honest.
No problem. You found your position.
I found my position and I'm glad. I'm glad.
Well, don't worry, because Milan's found his position, because most of it is on
Yeah.
audio, so no one can
I'm,
see him
I'm
anymore.
chasing now.
So
I'm not find. I didn't find anything. I'm still chasing. Come back.
no, you're not.
What I know about Milan, he spends most of the time on the beach, innit?
Now, yes,
So he
definitely.
found his position.
I mean, if you're in the country like this, that's where you need to be.
I mean, deep in his heart, he was always a beach boy. So that's just dreams coming true.
Cocktails.
We're going to sort of wrap this up, gentlemen. I mean, to be fair, I'm enjoying this. We could be doing this for hours, but I do want to wrap this up a little bit. Talk to us about any particular stories that you've got of any particular, of the like, first team players, that's something that caught your eye that has sort of stayed with you all these years later, and something that, whether it was maybe Carlo Ancelotti said something, or Scolari, or even Andre Villas-Boas, anything that sort of caught your eye, and any particular sort of memories you have of Cobham and your times at Chelsea?
For
No,
me,
you
it's
want to
about.
start?
Sorry, and you. Okay, you start. You start.
No, you start. You start.
For me, the best advice is what I said multiple times on this. It's the hard work and the dedication you have to the sport. Whatever you do, eat the right foods, have the right recovery, do your extras, have the balance. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at the times, now I can actually say how much of a privilege that was. Like, and it would be great if all the young players they get a chance to get picked somewhere. They really know that they have a privilege and they really appreciate it. It
And
comes
look,
to
this doesn't happen very often. Like to come from Czech Republic or Slovakia, we are, and okay, Thomas Kallas was bought as well. It's four of us, two and two.
yeah,
It's really hard to get. Remember, Jan, every week there was some guy on trial, or every month, or every 2 weeks from different
yeah,
nationalities,
that's
Brazil,
true.
Argentina. Every week you are fighting for your position because they can buy someone for 2, 3, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million from Brazil, from somewhere. Every week,
Just
every week.
sorry, Milan, just on that, what was it like for you guys then having to deal with that? As you said, you've got players coming into the team on I say, weekly, fortnightly basis, whether they've been signed and then they're potentially going out on loan in the next 2, 3 years, or players that have
It
been.
wasn't back then like that. It
Sorry, I
didn't
mean
exist.
players in terms of going on trial, like players that have coming in on trial. What was it like having different players coming in pretty much nearly every training session?
Jan?
I mean, to be honest, I never really thought about it.
Yeah.
Like as I said, I was surprised even I was there. I mean, I appreciate a chance. I really remember, like I knew at the time that being at Chelsea it's something, but I honestly I never thought about like if I'm gonna be replaced. Probably by the thing I said before. I knew when my football career will be over, it's not going to be end of my world. So I was like, I was pretty, I was pretty chilly about being replaced and stuff like that because I wasn't 100% the time like I really need this and want this. So that's my point of view.
My point of view is to show the guy who is coming that, coming here. Do you know what I mean? Like because obviously I was in my age group on as a winger or striker. So if some of them came there, you show it in training. Okay, you don't need this guy here, and I think that's the mentality you should have.
Final question from me, gents, because we have been going for quite a bit. What's your lasting memories of being involved in Chelsea, and you guys working together, and then again having your friendship still to this day?
You mean like what the memories are overall or one particular memory?
Just in general, sort of just a more of an overall perspective.
I mean, as I said, I really appreciate it when I look back because, I had a chance to live in different country. more or less I learned English good enough to actually communicate with the other people. Not like
You're
super
still
perfect,
good. You're still good.
but that helped me a lot. It was a great for me. It was more experience in like life to actually, I overcame the homesickness. I learned language. I learned to interact with people from other countries. So for me, like spending time there, leaving the home when you're 15. Yeah, I mean, it's a great experience to leave your parents and friends. It was hard, I can admit, but gave me lessons I'm still using, in my life now. So I'm a football way. I like to remember it was my peak time there. So I really enjoy it. And there was a time I was ashamed to talk about it here in Czech because Chelsea is a big thing. So I was trying to hide it and be like, stay humble and everything. But I'm over 30 now. I don't give a fuck, and I like to brag about it. So
No.
that's a good
And
thing.
you should, because not many people do that.
Yeah. So all the best now. Everything just felt good. Love to think about it.
Yeah, amazing experience. Amazing experience. 8 years I was there. Obviously, I'm always going to think I could have squeezed more out of something, but that's just life, and you learn from your mistakes. If you don't, then the things happen in life. So, but yeah, amazing, everything, just positives to say.
Brilliant. Gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure having you both on the show. Milan, obviously, you're more of a regular now, but Jan,
Yeah.
lovely to hear your stories, and obviously lovely to hear your thoughts about, when it comes to training and when it comes to fitness. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show. Hope you're doing well over there, and hopefully our paths hopefully will cross again.
Hopefully, yes. Thanks, Keith, for having me. Thanks, Milan. Good to see you again.
No problem, my friend. Anytime.
Gentlemen, as well, folks, hope you've enjoyed listening to us have a little bit of a going down memory lane. You can find us, as I said, on previous episodes. You know where to find us. Gentlemen, thank you very much. And hopefully, folks, we'll still keep the blue flag flying. Stay safe, folks, and carefree.